Ah, there we go. Okay. There was like a chat window in OBS. It is no longer here. What the heck? Do I just have to have Twitch open as well? I mean, like, it's fine, I guess. All right. Cool. So, I have a video game. It's currently undergoing a large rewrite here. Me and Avadi made this at a game jam a month and a bit ago. You have these registers at the top that have, you perform operations on them, and then you have to get the right answer in all of your registers, then go to the end, and then you hit enter and go to the next level. Right now it crashes when you hit enter, because there's no other levels defined because of this big rewrite that we're going through. So I can hit F2 and pop into the editor. You can look around, move entities around. The collision here is imperfect, but it's been good enough for now. Yeah, so basically I want to be able to click to place things, like these parameters and operators. It kind of works now. Like you can, if your mouse is over something, you can click to place another thing, and then crash, which is interesting. But by the end of the stream, hopefully, this will be more like of a. So right now it's like quite freeform. Like I can place it here, 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 like anywhere. But being, hey kitty, being a tile-based game, we want it to sort of snap to tile positions, right? So that's what I'm going to try to work on here. And I'm not sure why it's crashing when I place something, so that'll be, definitely need to fix that immediately. Diana. Okay, so when you click, this happens when you click. Go. That's all right. It could be, it's probably these calls, so if I comment those out. Yeah. So that's actually going to be something of a problem. I want you to be able to click to place an entity, but also clicking is how you select different entities in the scene already. I'm not sure how to best handle that. Maybe when you're placing stuff, you need to like hold control or something. Seems kind of lame, but maybe something like that. Okay, so these cause crashes, which is no good. Although I'm gonna make it stop spamming the currently selected, currently highlighted entity. Odin bug. Okay. Wait. Yeah, the keyboard's just gonna be loud. My mic is like right next to my keyboard. Maybe I need like a mic boom or something. Okay, so it's not even getting to here before crashing. I imagine it's this make entity call. Yeah, okay. Which overload? This is the... Wait. This is not... Right. What is this calling? Yeah, make entity is supposed to take a scene to make an entity in. But... that's not... Do I have another make entity somewhere? Oh, maybe not all the overloads. Take a scene. Yeah, okay. How does this... Is this just calling itself? I think it is. Yeah. Yeah, the keyboard audio, yeah, that's very important to the programming stream experience. Maybe able to get away with snapping if there would be an underlying grid everything is placed onto. Although it's 3D, all this stuff is on a plane, right? So the initial Game Jam version had a quite hard-coded, not hard-coded, but like there was a grid of a defined size, and then the entities were just placed into that grid. But the problem there is you want to be able to have multiple entities at a certain position in the grid, right? So like you could imagine like the start point for the world or for the level, and you also want the player there. Or when you walk over a parameter or operator in the game, like the operator is in that spot, but also the player needs to be in that spot as well. So now the new system sort of, it's like you just have entities in the scene and they can be wherever you want them to be. But as for, and then I think for keeping things on a grid, everything will just have a collider on it that is one square unit in size. So what you saw before, where I was hovering, it had the highlight version of the thing that I was going to place. That's based on the renderer collider. So that's how we can click on things in the scene. It's based on the bounds of the model that it's rendering, not the gameplay collider, because you want to be able to click on things that might not have a collider. But yeah, I think this is just infinitely recursing. I think this is the same thing. It's calling itself here. We'll just explicitly call make entity normal. Man, like as time goes on, I'm not liking overloading procedures. I think Bill was good to put this like explicit thing in because it's made me think a lot more about overloading, and I don't know if I like it anymore. Too many. Okay, we don't have requested ID anymore. That's not something we can do. Right. Yeah, these should have been taking a scene parameter the whole time. Wait. No, not that. You're not supposed to be able to know about that. There should be no... So right now the scene code, or the entity system scene code lives in the same package as the rest of the game. So I accidentally touch game-specific global variables sometimes. I need to factor this out into its own package at some point, but that's not important just yet. So I'm just making sure I'm not touching anything. Sort of how it works at a high level is there's a scene that the user of the scene system has on their own side, and then they call things like you could do something like this. I think it's like load scene, scene, my scene, and then my scene is like a folder on your hard drive with a bunch of entity files. I guess I can show that. That would be good. Programming. So yeah, there's this main scene, or I think the main scene is what we boot up into. So there's all these files, which is just an entity per file, so that merging is really easy. You don't have like the problem where two people change a scene and then the whole file is conflicted and you need to like figure out how to do that. As long as you don't touch the same entity, then things are fine. But even if you do touch the same entity, it is a very simple text format, so you can merge reasonably without too much of a hassle. And then we just load all these files up into the scene when the user calls load scene here. I think it also like stomps on the existing scene. So like if you did this, then this would load the scene, load my scene, and then this one would clear all of this. There's no mechanism for loading a scene additively on top of the one that's already loaded. We'll need that in the future as well, probably. Maybe not for this game, but certainly at some point. Thank you, Hecaton Kyros. Oh, jeez. Nice. Okay. Crash fixed. Beautiful. Now, game colliders. So as I said before, there needs to be a unit box around every tile so that you can properly collide against it. And we don't want to use the renderer collider to do that. In the editor here, we do this line cast to see against the scene to see what we're hovering over. And then if we are hovering over something and you click, then it spawns either a parameter or an operator entity, or the start and end point if you have those selected, which I don't think I support actually highlighting here. Start, end. These were Control O and P, I think, in the Game Jam version. In the Game Jam version, we had a simple editor as well, where you could like, it wasn't like a fancy clicking things in the scene, spawn arbitrary entities. It was like you move the guy around, and then if you press Control 5, it like spawns a 5 on that position. It was primitive, but it worked for the jam. So that's what we did. Right. Hello, Simp. Hello, Dithan. I've never actually said your name out loud. Is it Dithinus? Dithinas? Dithinus? Yeah, so things need a bigger collider. So like the 1 and the plus and everything here needs to have something like how this one has, where it has this green wire that's Z fighting a bunch. And this purple bounds is the renderer collider, so I can click on these and it, oh jeez, it's spawning things. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna make it control click to platform dot get input control. Okay, so now we can click on things without spawning objects. That's good. Nice. I'm glad it's actually running well. Yeah, I don't have any dropped frames, so that's good. Whenever I've tried to stream in the past, I've always had really bad internet, so I've been like just dropping frames for seconds at a time, and then yeah, it was bad. But this is working, which is pretty neat. Yeah, nice. Okay, it's still so I can click on entities to select them. And I want to be able to spawn entities without selecting the one that my mouse is currently over, because that's just done on click right now, and that code doesn't know that I've spawned an entity in this other part of the code. So I also need, this is an engine improvement that I probably have to do at some point soon, is being able to sort of consume an input, and then so if you have two parts of the code base that aren't, or that want to do things on click or on a button press, one of them can consume the input, so then the other one can't. It won't do the click operation twice, or in two places, I guess, right? Like how it's happening here, where I click to select an entity and place at the same time. So that'll have to change. Okay, so things need colliders. I think right now the way collision works is every entity has this collider info, which is just a box and an offset right now, but you could imagine like circle or like capsule in here at some point. But as far as the game's concerned, you just set the data on this, and then in the entity system update, it will put that information into a different data structure, the collision scene, and keep that updated with the newest values. So the user of this just sets the collider and then doesn't have to worry about how that's sort of all happening. So when we make an operator entity, or maybe this should be done in the start of the entity itself, because you don't want to set up the collider when you make no, you need to. No. So the way that updating entities works is for any given entity type, right? Like we have the player here, which has some stuff. There's a start player that you can register, and then whenever a player is in the scene, when you hit like play, it will call start before it starts calling updates on that thing. So you can do some initialization stuff before the game gets running, and then this is the update player, which does a bunch of other stuff. But also there's so start only gets called in gameplay mode, but we want to initialize this collider thing also in the editor. So if you make an entity, it like has a collider there already, not only when you hit play, because you want to be able to spawn stuff in the editor using that collision data. So for that we have init, I believe, init player, and then we need to add that as sort of register that with the system. Init player. I believe this is the thing. Yes, it is. But I don't know if we're actually calling it ever. We are not. So make entity needs to call it after setting it all up. I believe right here. Frick. There we go. Mentioned a Game Jam. Game Jam game from before. Do you have an example of what you worked on? Or do you oh, yeah. I mean, I think I actually even have a... I think the build in here is from the jam. Yeah, so the game is like I said before, you have this register, and then this is the answer, so you need to do 1 plus 1. You go in there, so like when you hit, so the blue things are parameters, and the orange or red ones are operators. So that puts a 1 there, that puts a plus, and then another parameter will resolve the math, and then you go to the next level. So now the answer is 2, and you have a 3, a minus, and a 5 here. Of course, 3 minus 5 is minus 2, but 5 minus 3 is oftentimes 2. Oh gosh, I haven't played these levels in a while. Yeah. So this is you need 19, so 3 times 5 would give us 15, plus 4 is 19, right? And there's like undo and restart and stuff, as any sort of grid-based puzzle game should have, I think, probably, right? Of course, 4 divided by 8 would not work. So this is actually a funny thing. Well, I guess I'll talk about that in the next level. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So these are all integers, right? So 7 divided by 2 would give us 3. 2 divided by 7 gives us 0, right? It's not going to do like, oh gosh, whatever 2 divided by 7 in floating point would be. I don't know if this is a good thing to have in like the actual game, because probably people who play video games don't know about what integer divide means. But it's also hard to not have it, because any level with a divide and some numbers in it, the user could do that and then be potentially confused. But it's just whether or not we want to make it part of the game in a way that's like important and the players need to learn about. Not entirely sure. So yeah, this is the game, and then you, as the game goes on, you get 2 registers. So then you have to have, you can select them, right? So like I can put a 1 into that one, and I can hit 1, put a 1 in there, and whatnot. So I think this one is, you need a 1 plus 1 here, and then you switch to the second one, and then you 8 divided by 2 to solve it, and then. That's mostly everything. And then, yeah, this is another sort of thing. Instead of just like hard numbers, there are these parameters which actually read from one of the registers, right? So this one will read from R2. So if I highlight 2, right, R2, and I put a 3 in R2, switch to 1, and then walk over this, it'll copy the 3 to there. I think this one is like, put a 4, and then a 3 plus R2 is 7, right? And then shift, which just moves. So I have 3 here, and then a shift right would move it over here. And that works for all registers. So like if there's a 3 here and a 1 here, or 2, and then walk over this, the 2 will go over here, and then the 3 goes there. So this is the game that I'm sort of reworking a bunch, updating the entity system to be something more flexible and just better to use. Yeah. Dithynas. Where's the stress though on the name? Is it Dithynas? Dithynas? I don't know. Is the lighting okay? Also, it feels dark in my room, but maybe the webcam creates light or something. Oh, it looks alright on OBS. In fact, I even look a little washed out. Strange. Oh well. Cool. What is C operator domains? What is that? I haven't written anything non-trivial in C, so I'm not sure what that is. Alright, so we just call the init proc when make entity is called. This will happen in editor and in game mode, gameplay mode, play mode as well. Info.init proc entity, I think, yeah. I mean, I have a lamp here. I don't know if it would do anything though. And it lights up like the rest of the room a little. Is this better or worse? I don't know. I'm not sure. Let me know. Oh, I see. Yeah. I don't know what else to call C's way of allowing incompatible types by just implicitly casting them with data loss. Yeah, that's just implicit conversions, which are not good, in my opinion. Like, if you have a float, if you have this, got a float, and an int, I equals f. This should be a compiler error in any compiler that cares about making robust programs, as Odin does. Odin does not let you do this without an explicit cast like so, or like so. Yes, this is in Odin, yeah. Okay, so we have an init proc. Let's make sure that that's getting called. I think I made an init. Let me just order my windows here. Yeah, that should be good. So we added an init proc for the player. So this should be getting called. Should be getting called immediately because it starts in play mode as it is here, and then if I tab to the editor, it should also be called because the editor, tabbing to the editor, like destroys the whole scene and then rebuilds it from disk right now. So we get all of that. Now we need some like add tile collider to the player. And then all the other entities are going to need this as well. Absent some kind of prefabbing system where you can make an entity and then serialize that entity as like a template, we'll just have to construct prefabs in code in it right now, and that's fine. Start point, we'll need one of these. End point, we'll need one. Parameter and operator will need one as well. Did you just hard code the conversion behavior in? What do you mean the conversion behavior, simp? For the dividing, the integer divides for in it, like in the game? assert that the entity dot collider info doesn't currently have stuff. And then we will do equals collision dot, what is it again? Collider info. Offset and a box. Wait. Yeah, collider info. No offset and box. Collision dot box. Size is vec3, so 1, 1 up. Import collision. So simp, when we have this procedure called calculate registers, which runs every frame, and it goes through the path. Oh, that's something I didn't talk about actually with the game. Your character leaves behind this little orange or yellow path, and you can't loop back on the path. That's sort of like the string of everything you've done so far in that level, right? And then so every frame we iterate through those positions, get the entity at that position if there is one, say a parameter, and then update what the registers should be. So we clear the registers and then run this procedure, and then they should be like all calculated, right? Like if you go over a 1 + 1, then it'll say 1 at the top of the screen. So then in here, for a divide, selected register.value is an int, and val is an int, and val is the thing, the entity at that position. So like if you have a 3 in your selected register, and then you run over a value of 2, then it will perform an integer divide, and you'll get 1, I guess, right? Yeah. So like integer divide is still in Odin, but you can't do like an int divided by a float. It won't do the conversion of a float to an int to do the divide, or whatever other crazy things C would do. I actually don't know. Does C convert from float to int implicitly? That sounds... I would be surprised if it did that. I know it does like integer promotions and stuff, so like a U8 can become a U16 and things like that, but... Gotcha. Okay, I see. I see. An int parameter. And operator. Right. So now, we're still calling it things, so that's gonna... Oh no, we're not. Okay. Yeah, so now we got... Look at that. We got these colliders and a box around the position of the thing. That's great. I actually don't know how well this is coming through on the stream. Hopefully pretty okay. Hello, the Burke. How's it going? Oh, maybe I should post in the Odin chat. Oh, sweet. Somebody else did. Oh, thank you, Mr. 47. Very nice. Okay. So now that we have collision on the entities on a not the renderer thing, now we need to use the green box instead of the purple box when trying to figure out where to place things, which should be pretty easy. I'm going to do the line cast, we collide against the renderer collision scene. So the scene has a normal collision scene, which is gameplay collision, like things like a bullet or a player's sort of volume, like a hitbox or something would be in here. The renderer collision scene is specifically for clicking on stuff in the scene view, and this is just the bounds of the mesh as I described before. So we just want to check against the normal collision scene instead of the renderer collision scene. And there we go. Yeah, cool. And now it needs to be, now we need to actually do the snapping. What's in my Milton here? Nice. So we have like an entity here, and then the mouse is like hitting here, and then we click to spawn an entity. We don't want to spawn the entity like around that point. We want to like figure out, okay, we're on this side of the box. Let's go out this way, and then spawn it there. And that will be some minor mathematics. I think just make parameter entity. No. Okay, so we want some way to transform a, yeah, actually, so I've even started this last night. So there's this tile position procedure that currently, it takes a position, and then the idea is that it will return a position sort of fixed to the grid. Right now, it does not do anything. It just returns the position. Poor Mikkel. I don't know why he hates math so much. It's like he's terrified of math. So I think this tile positioning thing needs to actually take a normal, maybe, to know to move this out a bit, and then like truncate it to an integer position. I think that makes sense. But then let's just try to see what this would do. So copy the position so we can modify it. Position plus equals normal divided by 2, maybe, right? Because we want, because the normal would be like 1 in this direction, which would put it way over here. Because the distance between two tiles is 1, right? So we want the mid position, and then position.x equals. So we want something like this. So we cast it to an int and then cast it back to a float to get that sort of snapping to grid. I don't know what the best way to do this is, but this seems fine. Though I don't know if I actually have normal information. Oh no. Okay. So I do not currently calculate normals in the code that I stole from Stack Overflow for box checks. Cast line box. Yeah, I do have a name, indeed. Indeed I do. Hello, welcome, Mikkel. Mikkel, or butcher your name trying to do the Danish accent. Okay, so I don't have normals. So what's another way that that we can get this information here? Sorry, we're gonna need to do some math here. I think though we could just make up some normals because we know we're calculating against a box, right? So we could get this direction from this situation, presumably, right? My name is Joshua, yes, or Josh, as you can see. Oh, I don't know what my text size was at. I usually program like this, I think. Maybe like that. Yeah, I think it was here. Sure, yeah, dude. All of those are my name. Yeah, Jared. Yep. Definitely. So how would you do this here? If you get the direction and then only keep the biggest of them, right? So like if you have, if our mouse is pointing right here, then this is the direction to that point, and then the y is a lot smaller than the x there, right? So we can maybe just stomp on the y, and then we would get this. Would that work in 3D? It's harder to visualize. So if you're touching sort of like the So 3D box, and then if the mouse is pointing like right here, then the X offset there is less than the Z offset to like come from the center of the box to like to here. I think that works. We will try that. Joshua, pronounced with like Joshua. Joshua. Definitely. Joshua. Yeah, well that's yeah. That's the origin, right? You have Joshua, and then this was my username for a while, Schwa with a U, because it's just this without the J-O. But people were saying Shua a lot, and it was really bothering me, so I switched it to a W. I should like change my real name to be this, Joshua with a W. Should be good. Yeah, or Shu. Yeah, like Shua. No, like a. Not even Shua, but like Shu. Old. Okay, let's do the math. We're looking in game, tile position. So it needs to take the position of the box, right? So we need this position and this position in order to calculate that we should place the thing right here. So it would be the thing. Right, this is in the draw. This is when we're drawing things. But we only know we need to save this, I think. So hovering object position, right? So this will be the position of the entity we are hovering over, and then this is the position our mouse hit on that entity. Seems all right. And then that equals mouse hits 0 dot. Is there a user? I think there's a user data. Yeah, and that's an entity, I believe. We will verify this. There's too many parentheses. Dot position. I will just verify this though. Hold up. Loglin that. Oh no. Object. Yeah, this is a bad name for this procedure, but it's fine. Over an object. Dir is position minus. Oh, I always forget this. A, B, and then it's B minus A. So, yes. Norm? Yeah. Well, actually, we don't want to do this yet. And we need to figure out which one is the largest. So for element in direction, largest. Value. Actually, 2 element is greater than largest value. Do largest index equals element. No, index. And then largest value equals element. Okay, so now we know that. We will assert that something was the largest, right? So we don't equal -1. And then we want to go through again. If the index is not the largest one, then we want to stop on it. Dir index equals 0. Okay, so then we'll also just assert that the largest value is greater than 0. Sure. And then dir equals norm dir. So now we have dir is this now. Hopefully. And then no normal. I feel like I forgot to do something, but let's see. Odin bug. Hey, look at that, kind of. Oh, wow. All right, okay. So, yes, this is properly an entity. It has some things. Not just casting a garbage pointer to an entity. Oh, wow, okay. Nobody's spoiling the name of Odin. I don't think. Hopefully it's not me. That would be unfortunate. Should I put my stream on like the Handmade network streams? How do I do that? Forums? Where is it? Need to log in. This is weird, getting used to like moving windows off screen when I do things like log into things. No. Oh, username. I don't know what my username is. What's my username? What? Oh yeah, yeah, on the Discord. I will do that as well. Thanks for the idea, Burke. Oh, thanks y'all for following. That's awesome. Got three followers? That's pretty dope. There we go. Cool. And then forums. Don't do that. Ah, perfect. Twitch channel in the link section of your user profile. Okay, in case that shows private things. Do I just paste the link like that? Hey, cool. Look at that. Wow. Amazing. Very nice. And then on the HMN Discord, I will also do this. Streams. Am I blind, or is it? Did they remove it? Did they remove the streams channel? Oh, hello, Bill. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Just write a program that blanks out your screen when 1Password is open. Yeah, I still haven't set up 1Pass. I need to do that. Streams, look at that. I found it. Hold up. Oh, hello, Brendan. How are you? Are you on like vacation? What's going on? You're in Florida or something? Neat. I think we figured it out. What does streamer mode on Discord do? Whenever you open it OBS, it like pops like a thing. I imagine it like stops notifications from coming up, which is very nice, I guess. I don't know. Could somebody message me on Discord? like a DM? Yeah. Privacy stuff. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. We are programming. But it crashed. Okay, yeah, so I got a message, but it didn't. What? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's wonderful. But it crashes right now. Oh, it's a runtime assert. Okay. Editor 171. Oh, but that's going to be different because I removed a log. Okay, so that's kind of not right. Oh, did I delete the divided by? Because we only want half. Oh no. Thank you, Bill. Yeah, it's coming along, man. So this is correct. See, this is weird. It shouldn't be moving over there until I'm like on this collider, right? Are the lines visible on the stream, like the debug lines? You assume so. Here, I'll take a look. Oh yeah, they're all right. Oh, the quality is kind of cruddy. Am I in? Yeah, I'll have to fiddle with like better. Yeah, I guess that's true. If you, you wouldn't know. So this is strange. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's snapping all weird like that. And then it places wrong. Okay. Where do we spawn it? Here. I mean, we should just calculate this once. Tile pos. Target pos. Right. And then I could just, instead of having these as globals, I'll just have the one hovering, highlighted tile position. Sure. And then I can delete both of those. And then we do that. We don't have this target pos. And then this also goes there. Metis world. That's fine. Yeah, we'll keep those the same. What was it? Hovering object position? No, highlighted tile position. There we go. What are y'all getting up to on this lovely Sunday? Hey, sweet. Kind of. I mean, it's janky, but oh no. 170. Oh, wait. This would happen if we called it and didn't have... Procrastinating sleep. Oh, I guess it's pretty late where you're at. Are you in? Wait. That's not Israel in your name. Is that Israel? The Burke is real? Right, Israel is AE. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. It is Monday for you guys. Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah. 11 o'clock, that's not too bad. Very nice. Why is this crashing? Bill, compiler bug. So, okay, actually, Bill, at Handmade Seattle, I asked you if when did short circuiting, and this is the bug that I get occasionally. Hold up. Where is that? Yeah. I think this is the one. Yeah. So this here occasionally doesn't work. But it does sometimes. Like here, it's working now. Yeah, I imagine it's a race condition. Do you think it should short circuit like this? Or would you prefer if it didn't? Like how would you get this behavior if it didn't short circuit? Maybe you don't want this behavior. I don't know. Maybe this is like a janky thing and GPU backend always should be defined to be something. I guess right now this just means like fall back to OpenGL if a different one was not defined. Yeah, I don't know if maybe that's not a good thing to have. Maybe you always want to enforce that there's a GPU backend. When not... Oh, would that... Right, because whens don't actually have a scope, their own scope, right? When not defined, GPU backend, do when... Wait, what? Oh, so just don't... I see. I mean, would this work? Yeah, this should work, right? Okay, so then right, and then I'll actually put this in the main GPU file. Oh, I am doing that. So the other thing was just redundant with this. Yeah, very nice. Cool. Yeah, it seems like a race condition. It happens very infrequently. I find it happens the most if I save a file and then tab and hit compile really quickly. That seems to have a higher chance of causing that race condition. I don't know if that's a real thing or whatever. Okay. Oh, crud! I want the absolute largest. Right? I think. because it could be a negative thing. Maybe that's what was causing the flickering stuff. No? Wow. What's going on? Oh. Colon equals min F32. There we go. Hey. Why is it doing that? It doesn't make any sense. There must be a collider in... No. Night, Mikkel. Have a good sleep. Okay. After. Before. Okay. So the after is the same, even though the position it's putting it at is different. What? Right, so I would expect if my mouse was right here, I would expect this to be like almost exclusively I'm gonna normalize this just to be totally sure what's going on here. Hold up. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's before. So Z is coming this way, like out of the screen right now, which I don't like, but I don't want to change it just yet. So that I don't understand why it's moving over there, even though this shouldn't be casting. This should be rounding. That's the wrong way to do that. Round, map. Nice. Hey, look at that. We are programmers. That is very neat. Cool. One thing, I want it to be drawn at half opacity. The brush that you're currently drawing. Draw editor. This line is getting long. Draw highlighted tile. The model, the shader. Well, the shader, it knows what it's going to do. And the position, I think. Parameter color. Yeah, we'll just pull this into its own little procedure. Model ID. Position. Okay. And that will do all this. The model, the ID, shader, position, right, color. Color F, yeah. Color dot A equals 0.5. And then we'll do that. Right, so this should all still D. Oh, that's not a thing. Wait. Oh, hey, Jake. What's going on, my dude? Look at that. So much nicer. Compression-oriented programming. Now we should have half visible things. Struggling with metal. You trying to get Workbench to do metal? So, oh, look at that. That looks great. Yeah, very nice. Don't currently draw anything else, so that's good. Whoa. Thanks, man. I made it all by myself with no help from anyone, actually. No, I'm just joking. Dr. Professor is the... So I mentioned I made this game at a game jam a month and a bit ago, and I did it with Dr. Professor here in the chat. So he also helps me work on Workbench and make video games. Good buddy of mine. What are the start models called? The start and end. Start. Basically famous. Yeah, dude. 15 viewers? Watch out, everybody. What is it called? The model for the start thing. Oh, it's just a cube. Okay, cool. Very nice. And then the color of endpoint is this. Okay, this should be in like a... It was the endpoint that I copied, right? Yeah. Should probably give it a type. So one thing that I'm not sure about is that I like to do this to line things up nice, but now if I'm like control Fing through the code base, I can't just like do operator space colon colon or operator color space colon colon to find the thing. And I don't know what to do about this because this looks worse, but is control F-able. And this also looks worse, so I don't know. We need an Odin IDE. Sublime Search does support yeah, but what even is the regex for that? I haven't done regex in years. What is \s star? Is that any amount of white space? Oh yeah. And then if I... Oh. Okay. Interesting. Oh jeez. Yeah. Maybe. That sounds... All right. I will make a note of that. In the meantime, I will align these. Remove these logs. Yeah, right, Simp? Like, no way. Don't at all want to do regex for my life. Are registers the same color as other? Yes, they are. Yeah. Oh. It is just R and then the thing. Okay. Right. And these are also just the names. Oh no. And these are operators. Oh, what is it? If it's explainable. What is the race condition? Hey, neat. So now, okay, so right now the player is right here, and that's the start point, but if I place the start point here, it should move the start point rather than spawning a new one, which is good, and then I can save, and then I can hit F2, and then the game crashes. Oh. Everything is parsed randomly, which means declarations are effectively out of order. Yes, I see. But parsing is out of order even within a file? Just across a package. Right, but that when statement, like if the, yeah, all right. Yeah. Okay, so the problem here is the add tile collider that we call in init is getting serialized. So maybe we just don't want that to be serialized, because like when we make the entity, when we spawn it, like clicking to spawn in the editor, it calls that init proc and then sets up the collider, and then that collider gets serialized, and then when the game starts properly, we try to add that collider again because the init proc runs when you make an entity, and that asserts that there is no collider yet, but since it's being serialized, there is. So we'll just no serialize, I think. That should be fine. I need to test the when statement multiple times. That's all. Right. Yeah, that's a doozy. Hey, it worked. So when I moved the right, I can even do it again. So that this little blue purpley thing is the start position, so I can put it over here, save, go back to the game, and we start here. Amazing. Hello, 128p. Enjoy your lurk, my friend. Collect all the declarations, but don't check them. Yeah, I mean, like, even when, like, how do you know when to stop checking them? Is like when you can't make progress, or what? Okay, I think. Okay, entity deletion is something that needs to happen as well. So if you're hovering over an entity and then you hit the delete key, we want to destroy it. Actually, maybe we just, because like you can do that already. Maybe that doesn't need to be supported by the level editor, but just from like the scene editor. Right, like hovering over something and then hitting the delete key. I don't know about that, but like here you can just click destroy and then it'll crash the game. Lots of crashes today. This is an imgui. So when I tried to, oh, okay. So when I try to destroy an entity, wow. Okay, so I just got another race condition, I guess, with the new one that we did. Hold up. Undeclared name, GPU backend. Oh, okay, right. So that makes sense, because if it's not defined here, we define it, but this one is also wanting to check it. That's why I had a short circuit when here. Okay. Like, I don't need this yet. This, like, we only run on OpenGL right now, so that's fixed. Done. So when I destroy this entity, this is a Dear MGUI window, so it probably tries to, I don't know, tries to do something when we destroy it, and then MGUI complains. Because it's like still trying to draw a window for a destroyed entity. Hmm. Destroy entity doesn't do anything, though. It just marks it for destruction to be destroyed later. But I guess it's on the next frame that's the problem. Like, what happens if this is... So this is when we... This line is when we actually draw the whole, like, UI and recursively go through the fields of the entity. So I wonder... I'm not sure if it's crashing on the same frame that we click destroy or the one after when it tries to draw a destroyed entity. I mean, this seems almost unrelated completely. It's a font push and pop thing, but like I don't push fonts in this file. That's in the current entity system too. What do you mean? Destroying causes a crash? Or... Oh. Yeah. Like the ECS stuff? I haven't... You might have. I haven't looked at the... Yeah, I haven't looked at that ECS stuff in a while. So Spelunky 2 reveal. Yeah, definitely. Welcome, Shaman. Or sorry, Shablanus. Get doxxed, dude. I mean, what happens if we, when we destroy it, we do selected entity equals null, but sorry. How is this currently done? Global variable, static variable, yeah. So when we destroy an entity, set that to 0. Maybe fix. Victory. Look at that. We can destroy things. Oh, what? What are you talking about? Why? I mean, 0 might not be a valid entity either. Okay, wait, so hold up. When you click, we do a line cast, and then if you hit anything, then we get the closest hit, which is the first one in the list. Oh, this is old. Okay, so it is guaranteed now that the first one in the list is the closest one. So I was computing which one would be the closest, which is no longer necessary. And selected entity index. Yeah, this is weird. This is strange indeed. Does it happen with some entities more than others? If I delete this one, that works. That one works. So, okay, this one, excuse me? We're crashing like crazy today. Oh, it doesn't have a collider. Why does it not have a collider if it's in the collision scene? It's a tough one, eh? Like, there should never be a collider in the collision scene without a collision info. So we should be... Assert info is not null, for sure. Oh, wait. Dot kind, sorry. Put that there, too. Probably gonna crash right away because something is registering a null collider. Or it'll just never happen. Ah! Strange. So when I destroy an entity and then select something else, I think that entity's collider is not getting removed from the collision scene. Marked for destruction. If it's marked for destruction, then we remove it. What's the problem? Deleted. Wait. Where's the closing brace on those? Oh, it's right there. Yeah? Okay, deleted it. But it's still in this thing, in the scene. A collision scene. Let us print out all of the colliders when a new one is added and when one is destroyed. Added. Call dereference it. Oh no. That's what it is now. No? Yeah. And delete. We'll do that as well. Delete. Okay, that's a lot of stuff. So we added all these things. One by one. Oh, and there's multiple because there's the renderer scene and the normal collision scene, which will make things a little bit harder to figure out here. But delete. So 5-8, D8, 9-8, 5-8, 1-8, D8, 9-8. This is the same number of things are in here. Oh wait, that's also a delete. 5, 8, 5, 8, D8, D8, 9, 8, 9, 8, 5, 8, 18, D8, 9, 8. So this one. This one doesn't have a matching. Wait. No, yeah, okay. Oh, is there a repeating pattern? Maybe? Because of... I will print the length. Maybe that would be helpful. What? Hold up. I believe this one is the gameplay one, and this one is the renderer one, because this one has more, and everything that draws has a renderer one, but some of them don't have a gameplay one yet. Like this box here, which is just a test box. It's not a real entity. It's an empty entity. And this thing on the ground there, or this white box. Those don't have gameplay colliders. So this would be the gameplay collider. No, yes. But if I delete this, then it should delete one from each. So there should be one with 7 and then one with 9. 7 and 7. Huh. Hey, we're destroying from the same scene twice. Renderer, collision scene. Wow, look at that. Copy paste errors. Victory. Clean up all our logs here. So now I can delete this, and then I can select this. Look at that. Wow, very nice. Jake, we need to, like, fix this. Like, from certain angles, they work sometimes. Like, this one. Oh, the gizmo, like, yeah, this one doesn't work sometimes. Yeah. Also, we need like the proper scaling thing. I guess we don't need it, but it would be nice. Right now, it's just like, this is like a world space thing that scales with screen. Oh, it's a distance problem. If I get closer, it works. I mean, it flashes and flickers, but it works. But if I get far away... Yeah, okay, so these bars are, I believe, agnostic to distance. Right, like I can be... Yeah. So these work with distance. But these don't scale with distance. So it's probably still doing the check, just very close to... maybe. I don't know. Something funny. We need it. Well, this is true. Yeah. But the rotation one works, man. This one's good. We need a scale one as well. That's right. Is that on the Trello? Scale gizmo? editor improvements. Scale Gizmo, yeah, it isn't there. Oh, undo. Oh, undo is gonna be a nightmare, dude. I think for undo, like I don't know how to support undo with Dear MGUI. We need to see if that's possible, and if it's not, then we need to make our own UI system for entities and things. So this is like kind of victory. We'll push up here. We're gonna do that anyways. Yes. Definitely. Put these at the bottom of the file. Okay, so what was in here? Oh, okay. Fix short circuit when with GPU backend. Level editor tile placement. Look at that. Looks like Apple doesn't want people trying to bind to their stuff with metal. Yeah, I don't do we need like a shitty Objective-C layer or some Swift layer or something? Be right back, one sec. Oh, have a good night, Bill. I'll see you later. But yeah, Jake, what's with the metal stuff? Oh, you're trying to not have it. Yeah, I mean that would be great if we didn't have to do that. Yeah. have a struct that all it has inside it is a pointer to another the same struct but private. Yeah, like an opaque types or something, right? Oh. It has a name. Oh, like the thing that, like the pointer field. Well, yeah, sorry, not anonymous, opaque, where like I don't know how, like if you look at the SDL 2, what? Like SDL has opaque types, I think. Package SDL, why didn't it find it? Oh, whatever. Opaque. Yeah, like this stuff. I don't know if this is the same kind of thing. But like, I think with these, you're supposed to only ever have a pointer to it, so the user doesn't actually know the fields. And like when you bind to it, you don't need to know the fields because since you only ever have pointers, the size doesn't matter. It's just a pointer. So like yeah. I guess the idea is you don't have to care about that private thing. You do need some of the fields. Okay, well then that's a problem. Fields outside of the struct? You can do that? That's madness. It's complete madness. Okay, so this stuff seems to be mostly work. Yeah, I don't know. That's strange. I mean, I guess are you following like some sort of tutorial thing that tells you need to fiddle with those fields? Okay, I think we're gonna start deleting code here, or deleting old. Oh gosh, what have I done? Operator. I committed that, right? Yeah. Okay, deleting old editor code. We don't need these. I'm gonna not do the world and level editor window where you can pick like things, because that's just a file. Like if you want to change the levels that are in a world, you just change the file. Maybe we'll have this at some point, but I don't think it's super important right now. Don't need the entity destruction. We do the spawning. Control S to save. That's something we do in the scene. No, but that's... I don't know if we want that. I don't know if we want that before the input consuming thing I was talking about earlier. Yeah, but the ones I need are visible, but IDK had to translate it to Odin. Oh, I see. Like the types, or like what does it look like? Nice. You deleted all that, and then I think in game there's a bunch of stuff that we can delete as well. Yeah, because this is the other spawning stuff. Get rid of that. That's the start and the end position. Oh, look at that. Just beautiful. Oh, and there's even... Oh, look at all this. Oh, we might need some of this stuff, though. I will leave this. Yeah. Delete. At property. What is that? There are sometimes... What the hell is this? Jeez. Yeah, I don't know. This sounds... And then sometimes there are parentheses with one or more keywords. If your thing can be confusing to advanced developers... Oh, maybe it means like developers from other languages that are advanced in those other languages. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty strange, man. I mean, can you... Is there a way to compile Swift or Objective-C into a DLL? Because if so, then having a layer doesn't seem that bad. I guess it would depend how big it would have to be. Like if we'd have to like rewrite the renderer in that DLL, then that would be really lame. But Okay, but we got we got it so we can make some levels now. We need a ground entity is what we do need. So like something like this thing here for just being ground that you can walk on or whatever. Yeah, DLL would... Yeah, we'd have to see what it would have to do. It's really annoying that they deprecated OpenGL in Mac, because, I mean, I know OpenGL is not the greatest, but like having to do some crazy Objective-C like platform whatever just to get something to run reliably. I don't know how I feel about that. Ground entity. it will need a tile collider. And this also has a okay, so there's a problem here. Entities have a model ID, which is a string, and it gets serialized into the scene folder. So like we have a player here, and it has a model ID of cube model. But if we want to, say in here, do like ground.model ID equals like if it was something else, it would leak that memory in there. So like, I mean, I guess just delete it beforehand. This is only like if we wanted to change it though. Or if we wanted to do some like processing and then pick a different one, we would want it to not serialize. Because it would be wasteful if it serialized and loaded this thing and then we just like deleted it. I guess this is fine for now. This is kind of wasteful. Because like when we load it from the file, right now it's just like allocated on the heap as a string. Maybe we should do some like string interning stuff so we don't, I don't know. But let's just, I mean, we could just not have this. And then just type it in. But that's also very annoying, so no, we're not going to do that. The whole point of having this as an entity is so that this step is automated. So that is what we will do. I think delete returns if the thing is null also, so this won't do anything. We need a way to spawn ground. So ground. Then we should get a bunch of, yeah, nice. What's brown? How do you do a brown? Brown. Color. Is it like a dark orange-ish thing? Yeah, that's all right. It's like 0.3, 0.2, 0.05, 1. What was it? 0.3, 0.2. I feel like there's another place. Yeah, we need to select it. Ground, Control G, I guess. what ID my type is. Would it be just like a hash of the type? Or like a hash of the value of the type? No? I don't know. Probably something terrible. What is it? What? I mean, it is a unique identifier. A pointer should be unique, right? But like you care if that's a pointer or not. So like having that be secret. Wow. Yeah, yeah, like yeah. All right. Sure. Like if I was using that, I would care if it's a pointer or not. That shouldn't be hidden from me, right? Like that's some garbage. What did I just do? Ground? Oh. Sorry. And this one we want. But is that like a language thing? Like is ID a language built-in thing? Like, yeah, that seems so strange. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's true. It is for sure weird. Hey, look at that. We got ground. Now we can place some ground, get some shader errors. Because it doesn't have a shader. Alright. So yeah, this is the... Like if it's... Like if this is a new ground that's being created, then we want to do this. But if it's serialized from the file, it should already have this stuff in it. But I guess yeah, when we have like a proper prefabbing thing, this problem should go away, I think. Oh yeah, shader debugging is peak programming. Okay, why is this not hitting the bottom of the collider? Like it can reliably get these ones. But why is the bottom a problem? What was that? File position? Right, I got -1. Oh, wait. Oh, it happens over here too. Okay, so we're not handling negatives properly. Yeah, it's turning... Right, because that's bigger. So we don't want... So it looks like it's seeing that this is the biggest and then stomping these two, which doesn't even make sense because this one is just, it's bigger. Oh, no, because we take the absolute value. Right, so the absolute value of this is bigger than the absolute value of that. But the absolute value of this is bigger than that one. It's like we should be getting largest index equals 1. And then index. I haven't dropped a single frame. That's incredible. Yeah, I'm getting largest index is 2 or 0, which is incorrect. Oh, we're comparing against the normal one and only absing the when we, okay. There we go. Excuse me? Now we're absing the wrong one. Victory. We are champions. Don't need that. Don't need that either. No! This... Okay, delete these logs. So, when we delete this block, this is the 0th entity in the list. So when it gets deleted, well, what would happen? This would is there some like initial value? No. Destroy, and then cube is no longer in there. So this looks correct to me. Like after we destroy it, we no longer try to draw it. But maybe like OK should be returning false here. Destroyed. So after we've destroyed the entity, after we destroy the 0th entity, this would basically not do anything, and then this OK should return false because that entity does no longer exist. So bet this is true for some reason. It is not. So what's the problem? Oh, this is missing a... Ah. That end was in the wrong spot? The end was in the wrong spot. Nice. Cool. Maybe we should make mGUI begin defer a call to mGUI end. Maybe. Or have like a caps lock version that does it. Okay, so we can destroy that. We can destroy, well, we won't destroy that because I'll place a ground first. Well, that one doesn't have a collider, so. Destroy. Save. Wow, amazing. We're getting somewhere here. Oh no, did I just move? Oh, crud. So these tiles, we want them to always snap. If they aren't the selected entity. Look at this, man. This is great. Put the start point there, and then the end point, put it there. This we can destroy, that we can destroy, that we can destroy, this we can destroy. That we can destroy. Oh. What? Why are we in the ground? We should not be in the ground. Interesting. Is there another start somewhere? Surely not. That's just a ground. What? Very strange indeed. It's possible that load level is having problems. Get entity type. Weird. It just fixed itself. I hate that. It happened. Okay, so there was some entity ID remappings. Why? Seems if I put some new entities in and then save, then it doesn't work. Actually didn't mean to make these so wide. I need a delete key. That would be good. Yeah, like these remappings shouldn't be happening. Maybe the generation is getting bumped along or something. Or, because they're moving by Indeed a small amount. So it could be the index. All right. Thanks, homie. I'll see you later. So what this means is that in the entity file, we have an ID for the entity, and it's in the file name as well. But we have the ID, and then if we try to spawn this in the scene, but the one that gets spawned has a different ID than what's in the file because maybe something else in the scene took this one's ID, then we need to change the, it could have had to change the entity ID. Which is, currently we're just logging when that happens, but not actually doing anything about it. You could imagine if an entity refers to another entity by its ID, and that gets saved in the scene, and then we load that scene, and then we have to remap the one that's being referred to. The one that refers to it needs to know that, so we would need to do some sort of post-load patching of IDs there. We don't currently do that, but there isn't any sort of inter-entity references happening, so that's not a problem as of yet. At least I don't think. Maybe that is what's happening and that's what's causing the problem, but I don't believe that to be the case. The ID does encode the index of, like, in the list of entities, so that you can like quickly look up by ID by just doing an index operation. No typos. So the situation. Okay, let's see if we can get like a consistent reproduction here. Game works. We go to the editor, spawn a ground, save. Game no longer works. It should be spawning the player at the start position here. But it is not doing that. Oh man, thanks. Yeah, I'll let you know. Can you fix this bug for me? Actually, that'd be great. We need to make these snap because I must have like budged this one a little bit. That's annoying. Right, so it's not doing remappings, but if I spawn a new one, then it will, probably. Potentially, actually. See, nothing should... Like, if I delete an entity, nothing should change about the other entities. If I spawn one, that'll put one in a new slot. You know, let's log the slots. Added entity to slot. And a slot just has the index and then index into the all entities array and then a generation so that like if you have an entity there and it gets destroyed and then you put another one there, you don't want IDs that were referring to the old one to give you this new one. You want that to not work. So we keep track of how many entities have been in that slot already. And that's encoded in the ID as well. Let's just start from like a totally fresh thing here. Okay. This is good. Right. When we saved, no, okay. And then I spawn one. And then it added it to a slot. I save, and then nothing changed. Except... Why? This seems to be a nasty one. Where'd the number go? Brick. What? Oh, What could be happening is when we load a level, we save pointers to entities, which isn't something you should do, but in this case it should be fine because for the duration of the scene, these would get cleared if the scene changes, but that's not actually true. Level and scene are kind of different. Level's more of a gameplay thing, and then scene is the actual set of entities that are there. So what could happen here? We load a level and then pull the player start point and end point out of the scene and hold pointers to them. And then if you add an entity, there shouldn't be a problem because that would just be put on the end. But if you remove one, right, okay, so interesting. So we have an array of entities, right? These dots just say that they're entities in like a big array. If we destroy, say, this one, then the new entity, did I point? Yeah, that one. If we destroy this one, then the new array looks like this, right? So pointers, taking pointers to entities is safe because of this. And then if we go to make a new entity, we'll see, oh, this slot's empty. We'll toss it in. But if we destroy an entity and then reload the scene, then it will do, it'll defragment them to, so then this is like reload scene. And reloading the scene, like I said, is different than reloading the level. Level is on more of a gameplay level, or a gameplay context, I guess. And the scene system is separate. So, enough if statements. Yeah, probably. If you add enough, it might fix it. Okay, but then, yeah, so if we reload the scene without reloading the level, right? Because the gameplay code doesn't, maybe this is a problem, that the gameplay code, like the scene can change without the gameplay code knowing. But if you reload the scene, then you would have this, which means that all of these will have their entity IDs remapped. And then when you were previously taking a pointer to say this thing, you're now pointing at this thing, like the gameplay code. Yeah, I think, right. So we have, in the gameplay code, there's a level info, which when you load a level, say like 1-1 or something, like the first level of the game, there's just a global that holds this information. And this is a global variable because I thought that that would be the simpler way. But that means that if you reload the scene, this global doesn't get cleaned up and rekajiggered, right? I think we actually just want all of this in an entity that lives in the scene. Because then, if you reload the scene, it'll automatically handle that. So I'm going to do that. We'll see how that shakes out. Add entity type level info. There will be an init proc or a start proc to pull, and we'll try init. No, well, I don't know what order starts get called in. We'll do init and then see how that works. Info, pointer to level, info. And then we'll delete the global because that's, we don't want that. And we'll have to, oh geez. Right, this is the stuff that we want in that init level info procedure. So in this, we'll store these info.allRegisters. We do have a current level. Couldn't find right. So then when we update the game, instead of referring to the global, we want to get it. Okay, colon equals get entity by type level info, pass the scene. Let's assert okay, and then if this ever becomes a problem, we'll turn it into an if, and then like log an error or something. It's fine, and then start player. Right, so yeah, the player start cares about the current level info. So if the current level info did that stuff in start, then it's not clear which one, or it's not deterministic which one will start first. So if that one didn't set itself, if the level info didn't set itself up in time for this thing to start reading from it, then there would be problems. But since it uses init, then we're safe. If okay. Then we do couldn't find level info. Holy moly. I could... No. Okay. I don't know why I'm not copy pasting this, but... level info. Pass that along. All right, render player. Some of these asserts might fail, and then we'll figure that out. No oh. Okay. Should work. Maybe some asserts. Assert. Right, because there's no level info in the scene yet. So we need to do that. So when we load level, we will make entity level info as the scene. Hey, look at that. And then, hopefully, okay. Do we have multiple level infos? We don't have any level infos. We need a way to spawn entities. We don't actually have a way to do that. Let's see if we can do that. Where? Here we go. So yeah, we want some way to spawn entities. That means maybe at the top of the scene window, there'll be like a little text thing where you can type in like start point and then hit create, and then it'll create that entity. Hey, okay, so we have this dummy one that just creates an empty entity, but we want to be able to make entities that actually do things. So we'll need a list box. I'm gonna do something dumb here as well. For type info in entity type information map. So we want to iterate through all the entity types and then populate a list that we can do like a drop down thing with. So you can No. Is this a different window? Do we make a different window to do this? I think maybe we do. Whatever, we'll just do this for now. Wait, don't we have names? Type name to type info. I think that would do. Oh, we still need to create a bunch of dumb things. Should use like a temp allocator for this. mean, if there's like how many? We'll try it. We'll do that. Type names dot allocator equals context dot temp allocator. I think that's a thing you can do. Yeah. And then in here, we will append type names. Strings dot clone to C string. That, and then temp allocator. That. Cast pointer to U8, right? Yeah, nice. Okay. Entity types. Right, because it doesn't have a thing. We'll make that for now, just so that we have something there. Crash. Huh. So something in this code is no good. Whatever. I'll just do the dumb way. Like so. Crash again. Okay, no, so something in here is actually a problem. Oh. Oh. Yeah. We need a different one. Make entity with type info. Or just like a normal type ID that isn't. Yeah, we want that one. What is it? Entity type name to TI. Selected name. And then selected name is not empty, so we actually have something highlighted. Selected name. And we don't have any WBML data, of course. We need a name for it also. Where does that go? Here. Sure, let's do that. No? Scene type name. Oh. ti.id. Hello, Scallywag. I'm working on a video game and engine. This one. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Yeah, so still pretty primitive, but this is all written from scratch using OpenGL. We have a guy that moves around and can pick up numbers and do operations on those numbers and has to get the right answer in order to get to the exit, sort of a puzzle game. So like if you only pick up the 1 and then go to the exit, you can't do it. But if you get 1 + 1 to get 2, which is the right answer, the game currently crashes. But if I hit enter, it would theoretically, in a working version, go to like the next level. Okay, so it doesn't crash anymore actually when you do that. Interesting. That's good. But that's still not ideal. What happened? That's the game so far. Yeah, thank you. This sun is a problem. Any better? No, I still got. Need darkness. There we go. Still one line, but that's fine. Yeah, it's best it's getting. The Church of Muratori, indeed. Yes, though I've watched a lot more John Blow than Casey, so probably more that, but definitely a similar philosophy when it comes to programming, for certain. Yes. Are you on HMN? I feel like I've seen your name around. Nice. Yeah, cool. What do you usually work on? Okay, so we got this thing now. We can pick an entity type, and then presumably when I hit create entity, actually create entity should be on top. But that's hard to do. So I won't do that right now. Cool. Yeah, compilers are super fun. I got a couple compiler projects that I wish I could put more time into. it's a lot of fun. Something similar, engine in C. Nice, very nice. Yeah. Web development is a complete disaster. This is correct. I find this to be true. Do you professionally do web dev, or that's just your reason for not doing web dev is because it's a disaster? Cool. Okay, we got a level info. A web developer of about 10 years. Oh gosh. You've retained your sanity thus far, so that's good. Did you always think it was a complete disaster, or did like the whole Handmade Network stuff show you the light, so to speak? Mostly Casey led the way. I never knew any better before, but I think it's also gotten a lot worse actually in the last few years. Really? In what ways has it gotten worse? I've only ever like seen it from a distance, and whenever I hear about a web thing, it makes me uncomfortable. But I haven't looked into it enough to know like what about it is good and not so good. So in what ways has it gotten worse? I'm very curious. So we have fixed some bugs here, which is very nice. When I hit save, it should work, and I should still... Oh, crap. Why? Oh. We're still doing that, which is not good. A lot to unpack here, but the primary problem... Yeah, do tell. No start point. It's right there. I'm looking at it. Oh. But it's possible it hasn't been created yet. Deserializing the scene. So the level info is getting created, and it's trying to get the start point, but the start point doesn't exist yet. maybe I could do something wacky where the level info checks for the start point, and then if it's not there, it just skips it, and then the level info on its start checks for, or the start point on its start checks for the level info and then sets it, and then have this like sort of two-way thing to make sure that no matter what order it spawns in, it'll work. But I don't like that. That seems very goofy. What would be better is if we just loaded the scene and then like set things up. Maybe init needs to be called after things are all loaded, but before start. All right, what's going on here? Management is completely crazy. 1 million lines just to render HTML. HTML is like very... It's very easy to lay out HTML, isn't it? Like it shouldn't take 1 million lines to do that. I mean, I have a UI system in here, and it can do, I think, most everything I need it to do, and it's 700 lines. The compilers all suck. TypeScript compiler, which I'm using at work right now, is actually worse than the C compiler. It takes 7 to 20. Oh, so TypeScript is like a C# looking thing that just compiles down to JavaScript, right? That's what it is. And then you just run the JavaScript. I believe that to be true. On a previous project at work once, we wrote a thing that transpiled C# to TypeScript, and then that TypeScript was compiled to JavaScript because a thing that we needed for our backend using an off-the-shelf thing needed JavaScript, and that was a nightmare. That was a really bad idea. That whole process of C# to TypeScript to, yeah, that was bad. Yeah, no, that was a disaster. Like it worked out, but working with it was like a pain. Like you couldn't use many of the features of C#, and just having that whole step in between was. I would not do that again. No, I would. It was to save on rewriting, so we needed like the same. We needed the same system to exist in both JavaScript and on a user's device written in C#. So we thought we were being good programmers by writing it once and then compiling it to different things. But really, like, it ended up being like a few thousand lines. Like, I would just rewrite the thing in JavaScript and like have to. I mean, hopefully, I would never write in JavaScript. But if I had to, I would just write the same thing in multiple languages and just make sure it works, like test it well or whatever. Because yeah, that transpiling thing was no good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Clanking compile 30-line project. 7 to 20 seconds on 30,000 lines. Does Odin show lines of code? No. So this is the Odin compiler. Takes 4 seconds to compile game, engine, and all of the standard library of Odin. And much of that is spent in LLVM. So like this is about a second, this is a second and a half. I mean, yeah, like Odin is less than a second of this compile time. And then LLVM just takes forever. And the Microsoft linker. There's actually a... Hold up. In the Odin main, there's show timings. Yeah, so here, let's get better. Get more information with this flag. Okay, 4 seconds, just under. Total lines, 35,000, including like probably blank lines and comments in the whole like standard library and my engine and game. So, I mean, yeah, it shouldn't take 7 to 20 seconds for any of that. And like TypeScript is not even, like it's not, like does it have a lot of features? Yeah, the standard library in Odin is, it's definitely incomplete right now. But it's still, I mean, it's very usable still. It's the world's shittiest language. Okay, yeah. So that's unacceptable then. So like, what's the point even then? Like, you can make classes or whatever, and you can't make classes in JavaScript, right? It's just like a function or something. Yeah, yeah. Definitely type safety is important. Like I would probably prefer to write in TypeScript than write in JavaScript. You can make classes in JavaScript. Okay, then. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I will hopefully never have to write in JavaScript. Freaking this light. My blinds are like bent or something, so there's like kind of holes. Oh yeah. That's annoying. Alright, I'll just try to sit up, I guess. So that's a new JavaScript feature that you can make classes. Do you get any type safety? Or is it you get classes but there's no type safety? Grab a water. What's that? Enjoy the cat. Right. So there's no type safety in JavaScript, but there's still classes? How does that work? I guess Python has the same thing, doesn't it? There's classes, but there's no type safety. That's very silly to me. The sun just needs to go down. That's what needs to happen. Ruby, PHP. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember doing some PHP stuff. Yeah. Just write everything in Odin. No problem. Yeah. Right. Okay. That sounds correct to me. PHP is a nightmare, for sure. Okay, so there's a problem where, just compiling Odin again. Okay. We have a problem where things are getting initted in the wrong order, and they depend on order. I hate these kinds of bugs. Maybe, no. Okay, well, at minimum, init level info. So this needs to be a start, not an init, because we need to wait until the start and the endpoint have been created, if they do exist. So but now there's the problem of the player is going to try to get the level info in its start, and if its start runs before the level infos does, that will be a problem. Maybe start point will set the player's position in its start. Maybe that's what we'll do. Start. Right? This will do player get entity by type. Scene player. So the bug is that when the level loads, there is a player that needs to be there and a start point that needs to be there for the level. And because the player needs to start at the start point of the level. But there's this other level info entity that was being used to like hold a reference to the player and the start point, and then like put the player at the start point. But that doesn't actually need to do that. We can just have the start point get the player and then put it at the start point. Or the player itself could get the start point and then put itself at the start point, instead of having to go through this like intermediate thing. In fact, I think that's the better approach, where the player, right, like right here, when we start the player, it's just like a race condition thing where initialization order is causing problems. But I think just not using the level info and just getting the start point if okay. Yeah, we don't need the level info. That's just not something we need. At least in this case. We still need it for other things probably. Right. Like, I don't even think these are needed. Yeah, we don't need this like caching thing. We just get it. We'll just get the start point instead of getting the level info and then getting the start point from there. Yeah, look at that. Right, so the level info exists because we have a maximum number of registers that we can have in a level. I think I explained the game, I think, to you, I believe. But you have registers, and then you pick up numbers and stuff. So the level info holds the state of those registers for the level. That's why it is needed. But these could potentially just be on the player. We might not need this level info thing at all. It's possible. Okay, cool. Didn't actually test, but this should work. Something got deleted here. I don't believe I deleted it, so there must be a bug. One plus one is 2. Cool. Fixed. I think. Right, so the actual problem was that spawning new entities in the level was messing up the pointers to the right. So the level info stored pointers to like the player and the start point. And then like putting new entities in the world would cause problems because the pointer it would like get invalidated when you reloaded the scene or something like that. So that was the actual problem that I was debugging, but that should be fixed now, and it is. At least it appears to be. Cool. Oh crap. Yeah, we need like some collision to not allow meandering. this is good for a push for sure. Yeah, nice. Fixed. I guess it's kind of a dangling pointer bug where scenes would reload, but levels wouldn't. Level info is now an entity. All right. Start making actual levels for this game soon. There's still one problem where, like, I could, like, this is supposed to be a tile-based game, but I could just, like, move this tile a little bit, and that's, oh gosh, what is happening? What is happening here? And then it won't, like, snap back. So that needs to happen as well. I think that's good for today's stream. Might work on the tile snapping thing off stream. But this was fun. I might do this more often. This is a good time. It's cool chatting with y'all. Being able to sort of rubber duck a little bit when debugging. But yeah, thanks for coming. I'll see y'all later. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Yeah, see ya.